Welcome back to What Arty Noobs with General Disturbance. You're looking at a Panhard EBR 105 Tier 10 wheelie. It's an abomination, should not be in the game. It's on the south spawn of Prokhorovka and it's under the command of the Royal Penguin. Game started. Well, yes, you've all heard about this vehicle, the clown car. It's so overpowered that even the top overpowered tanks in the game, even the Object 279E, cannot stand up to one of these things when it's performing at top speed and top performance with a good driver in it. Now, I've got two replays featuring the Panhard EBR 105, both from the Royal Penguin, and they're two very different games. And well, he asked if I could do both of them. You can see that he's actively spotting here in the centre, and well, there's opposite numbers there, and he's doing the same, and he just got a fire out of that vehicle. A premium fire extinguisher went off when he did. Now that guy's going to want some revenge. Oh, he overcooked that one. And he leapt over, and he got another shot in. But was it him who actually hit that time? I don't think it was. Nope, missed that one. It's a 105mm gun anyway, capable of 390 alpha with standard APCR, and it's got heat rounds. Oh, he just got killed by the 121B. Now, standard reload time is normally 12 seconds. You can see that the Royal Penguins managed to get it down to just 10.35. But he's tempting fate every time he goes up to the centre of the line, because he could be wiped out by just one shot that hits the target. Well, he's got a spotter badge now for spotting at least 1,000 hit points of damage, and finally somebody actually hits him. 441 from a chieftain. The other big problem with driving this quickly is that you actually could run into things, your own players, or even wrecks or rocks, very, very easily. Now, as the Tank Encyclopedia has just recently pointed out, this tank never existed. Never. It shouldn't be in the game because it just doesn't actually exist. The French never built a 105mm armed EBR. In fact, the turret is completely wrong, because the EBR-90, which did exist, actually had a 5 livre turret. That's the oscillating turret. And those vehicles that were armed with 90mm, well, they were slightly different than the one you're looking at here. In fact, they've made this an autoloader, which is kind of odd, because it's actually got a commander, gunner, driver, and a radio operator. And well, nobody's managed to work out yet where the radio operator is supposed to be in that vehicle, because even though you've got models actually showing the where the modules are, including the radio operator, in actuality they just wouldn't fit into the vehicle in that position. And in fact, actually the commander of the vehicle would actually end up being the loader, because despite the fact that it's an autoloader and the mechanism for the autoloader will be in the back, somebody had to lift the shells out of the ammo rack and put them into the autoloader, and since there's no dedicated loader, that actually has to be the commander. So he's actually doubling up and doing two jobs instead of one, and well, he's just spotted the guy who hit him earlier in the game, and he's now making his escape as quickly as he can. After having completed his mission, or part of it anyway, he's now got to win the game to complete the other part of his mission. And he's earned a patrol duty. Okay, he's now being chased by an Object 2684, and he puts a round into the Bobject and shoots across the road so the Bobject can't return the fire. And just look at the speed at which this thing is moving. Ridiculously fast. Now, I always contend that this vehicle wouldn't be as effective across country as it was on the road. The EBR-90 was capable of going very, very quickly on the road, as much as, I think they said about 100 kilometers an hour. And he's now got a scout medal for his patrol duty as well. And he gets hit again, this time by the Object 140. Yes, the vehicle was very quick on the roads, but that's because it was a wheeled vehicle, and wheeled vehicles can move quickly on the road. The other problem is that they actually gave this vehicle 720 horsepower. Well, there isn't an engine that actually has 720 horsepower that would actually fit within the engine frame that you're showing there. It's just not possible. The EBR 90, I believe, actually had a far less powerful engine than the EBR 105. Far less powerful. I think they were talking on the Tank Encyclopedia at about 200 horsepower. So how they managed to squeeze in 720 horsepower just doesn't make sense. Well, there's only 4 enemies left, and he's trying to get shots on the enemy on the other side of the battlefield. If he pops up once more, I think that T110E5 will say thank you very much and put him out of the game. Well, he didn't get the kill, but he did spot. And the T110E5 has been killed, which now means there's only a couple of enemies left, and he's just got around into the Udos, who's just been killed, and that leaves the last enemy, which has just been wiped out on the other side of the hill, and that was the 60 TP. Or was it the Kranvon? No, I think it was the Kranvon. Well, here we are again on in the same vehicle, the same player, on the same map, and yes, he's still on the south spawn. But these replays actually took some time apart, so yes, there was quite a few months in between these 2 replays. Now, I think you'll see why this game is slightly different right off from the start if you look at the minimap. The reason is the team are lemming training up the west side of the map. Only 2 tanks have decided to go to the hill. A Leopard has decided to go to the centre line. And oh, great shot there on the enemy EBR. Managed to get 377 hit points out of him with his first shot. Excuse me. Now remember, it's 390 alpha off this 105mm gun. And yeah, the enemy heavies are starting to shoot at him as well. Well, 2 tanks going up the hill, the rest of them going up the west side. This could be rather interesting. I guess the only thing he can do under the circumstances is support his team by spotting as many of the enemies as he can. But it is rather dangerous, obviously, when there's enemy heavies just across the centre line. And the UDIS 1516 is moved across the bowl. That's that little area in E3 and F3. Rather dangerous being there. Oh, he's just found out how dangerous it is, because he just got wiped out by the enemy T110E3. Yeah, not a smart move. If there's an enemy tank destroyer looking at you, don't go into the bowl. And at the start of a game like this, you can't be sure where the enemy tank destroyers are. Well, somebody up on the hill. He slowed down just for a moment to take a shot, but we lose sight of the Object 430U that was up there. Yeah, he keeps spotting those heavy tanks every time he comes over this side, but when he gets over to the other side, they pull back. Still, he's getting some spotting damage off it. Locks on automatically almost to that 60 TP, fires around in that direction, but doesn't get a hit. Yeah, the big danger is you might run into a rock or a wreck when you're driving around at such furiously fast speeds. As I mentioned in the previous video, In actual fact, these vehicles could not go the speeds that they were talking about in the game on cross-terrain, because of course the wheels made the vehicle go fast when they were on the motorways and on roads. But even if you use those middle wheels, the ones which have actually got the what's it, the not spikes, but you know, they've got the beveling in, which allows them to actually grip the ground, but they still wouldn't be quite as fast going across rough terrain. In fact, these vehicles would be very slow on rough terrain, with the possibility that, yes, they would suffer quite a bit of damage going over the rough ground. Well, you can see the enemy tanks over there. There's that T110E3, the one that took out the Udas. The Conqueror's down to a one-shot. He could actually get that guy. Oh, he's decided to do it. Oh, yes. Easy kill there. And, oh no, that Guerrilla's full health. Not a good idea to tangle with that one. He's decided to retreat, weaving as he goes to avoid getting shot at with the big 15cm gun. And the Guerrilla's given up. But he fires around in that direction anyway, and he runs into a rock. Now, if the Guerrilla's gone over to the other side of the battlefield, over side of the railway line, maybe he might be able to spot down the west side and find out where these enemy tanks are. When he's found one, the E4 pulls back immediately because he doesn't want to get hit by that thing, and he's out the game. Now he's found the Bosch, and he takes him out with one shot. There should be some Arty around here somewhere. There's one. There's the other. Oh, he almost ran into him. It's an Object 261. He can't stick around for the reload, but the 261 is down, and so is the batch at 155.58. The T110E3 just fired in his direction, but he's had to turn and face the Striv 103B, and the Royal Penguin can just drive up behind him and track him. There you go. And he's got a round in his rear. He's tracked. He can't do anything. He's fixed his tracks, but there you go. He's out the game now. So that's 3 kills now for the Royal Penguin. These vehicles, these wheeled vehicles, completely humiliate the enemy. I mean, it's ridiculous. They perform so well. Even the most overpowered tank in the game can't stand up to them. Even the Object 279E can be made, well, he can do silly things to them, really humiliate them. One round into the Guerrilla, who's turning to try and get his gun to bear, because of course he can't fire backwards. And he's managed to turn around enough, but the bank is now preventing him from getting the gun on the target. And our Guerrilla's come down to try and get the kill. Oh, he's taken the direct approach, the Guerrilla. And Royal Penguin takes him out and gets a patrol duty medal in the process, or might get a patrol duty. So he's now got 4 kills. There's 3 enemy tanks remaining, a 60 TP, an Object 430U, and a T110E5. Well, the E5 has just bit the dust, and that just leaves 2 left. They're being fired on by Arty as well as the rest of the tanks who are coming back to try and kill them. 60 TP's the other side of the railway line at the moment. Oh dear, the most overpowered tank in the game, according to Klaus Kellerman, is about to be completely humiliated by a clown car as he takes out this big Polish super heavy with a round to his rear. That was embarrassing, and just goes to show why this vehicle should not be in the game. So let's have a look at the end of battle results for both battles. Here's the end of battle results for the first game, and that was an ace tanker game for the Royal Penguin in the Panhard EBR 105. He got a spotter badge for spotting at least 1,000 hit points of damage, a fire for effect for doing more damage than the hit points through his own vehicle, a scout medal because he detected at least 9 enemy tanks. In this case, yes, he got 9 exactly, and also a patrol duty for being the only one spotting 6 enemy tanks whilst they were being damaged. Let's have a look at the team score. Well, we can see if we look at team score, he's actually on damage. He's way down the table. He only did 1,680 hit points of damage. The high score in the game was actually the Heshpan, who managed to get 4,154 hit points, followed by the Udas 1516 on the enemy team with 3,433. When it came to kills in the game, it was the T110E5 who did the best with 3 kills. There was a whole bunch of tanks with 2 kills apiece, and the Royal Penguin managed to get only 1 kill. But when it came to base XP, he's way up at the top. 1,345, the only one over 1,000. 784 for the 121, and 766 for the FV4005. He fired 15 rounds in that game, got 8 direct hits and 5 penetrations. Damage of 1,680 hit points, of which 343 were at more than 300 meters. He received 2 hits, both penetrations, they both went through, and they actually did some damage. He also spotted 9 enemy vehicles, damaged 5 of the enemy, killed 1, and did 13,762 hit points of spotting assist. That's a massive total for spotting. But I think that's why they won the game so easily, and also why the Royal Penguin got such a high base XP and why he's got an ace tanker. On a premium count, he earned 65,252 credits from the game, got 40,619 from personal missions payout, and after repair and ammunition resupply took away 113,866 credits altogether. He received 1,345 XP, got 2,018 to take away, and the battle only lasted 6 minutes 26 seconds. So let's have a look at the second game and see how he did in that one. Well, that was only a first class tanker, but he did get a spotter badge for spotting at least 1,000 hit points of damage, a bruiser medal for getting at least 5 critical hits, he got 5 exactly, a fighter badge for getting at least 4 kills, he actually ended up with 5, 1/3 of the enemy team, and a fire for effect as well for doing more damage than the hit points for his own vehicle. Excuse me, my cough coming back. The thing is, in this game, it was the lemming train. He did his best to support them as much as he could. He didn't get the highest damage in the game. That went to the Strip 103B, who got 3,879, but he was very close with 3,896 in this one. He was more than just passive spotting. He was actively spotting, going after the enemy, trying to find them and shoot them and kill them. He got the highest number of kills in the game with 5. 3 kills went to the Chieftain on his own team, and 2 kills went to the T110E3, and also the Strip 103B as well. When it came to base XP, he was actually in second place because the Strip managed to get 1,345, whilst Royal Penguin managed to get 1,167. But they were the only 2 players who managed to get over 1,000 base in the game. He fired 16 rounds, got 11 direct hits and 11 penetrations, damage of 3,596 hit points, and all of it was done at close range. He spotted 7 enemy vehicles in this one, so he was only 2 short of getting a scout medal. 7 enemy vehicles were damaged and 5 were killed, and 2,951 hit points of spotting assist in this one. So not quite as much spotting, more actively doing the damage himself. On a premium count, he earned 40,827 credits, 18,372 from battle payments, a total of 79,613, and after repair and ammunition resupply took away 60,568 credits altogether. So he earned less in this battle, even though he actually did more damage than in the previous one. 1,167 XP, times 2 for the first victory, took away 3,502 experience points altogether. If I show the battle results of the previous one so you can actually see that for yourself, 113,866 for basically just spotting and only doing 1,680 spotting actual damage. And in the next one, 3,596 hit points of damage, and he earns a lot less. So it appears that this vehicle is far more comfortable with actually just doing spotting, not actually doing damage on the enemy. Even though it is capable of doing it, he can spot for a lot more damage on the enemy. But it was the way that this one went down, the fact that it was a lemming train up one side of the map. And he did support the lemming train. It did work. They managed to conquer the enemy. And I suspect the reason why he just didn't make as much in the way of credits is purely that he didn't spot for as much damage as he would have liked. And that's the sole reason why he didn't get an ace tanker in this game. So there you go. I hope you enjoyed those replays. If you did, please give this video a like. Do subscribe to our channel. Leave a comment down below because it feeds the algorithm. And thank you for watching.